Good evening. My name is Connor Pennington, and today I would like to take some time to discuss with you the different types of wines and what they pair well with. Now, I know that most of you watching are freshmen in college and are probably not old enough to drink yet. However, you're only 2 or 3 years away, and you don't need to drink alcohol in order to appreciate it. At the restaurant I work in, there is a bartender who doesn't drink at all, but she's so knowledgeable of the drinks that we have in store, and she's very skilled at making cocktails both on and off the menu. It's not about drinking alcohol, honestly. It's about appreciating the art, and even non-drinkers can do that. Every stage of a bottle of wine's life is artistic. The wine starts as grapes in beautiful and serene vineyards all over the world, such as California, Argentina, and the south of France. Those grapes are fermented and aged to perfection by master winemakers. They are then bottled and distributed to fine restaurants where wine service is performed, expressing both the magnificence of the wine and the establishment it is found in. And if they instead end up in a store for everyday people to buy, they could end up being presented along with excellent hand-picked food pairings for a home date night, a get-together for old friends, or even a quiet night alone in a starlit sky. No matter what kind of wine you end up with, it has a story. My goal in discussing this is to encourage you to be more mindful of the different types of wines and give you some tips on what to identify that will help you decide what wine fits your needs. I would like to first start by giving you a brief summary on how wine is made. While the specific method varies from maker to maker, at its core, wine is made by fermenting grape juice into an alcoholic beverage by adding yeast. The yeast, with the help of oxygen and a stable temperature of around 70 degrees Fahrenheit, turns sugar into alcohol. This process is highly complex and would honestly take as much time to explain as it takes for the wine to ferment, which is generally about 2 weeks. After the fermentation process concludes, the wine can be stored in metal or wooden containers until it is ready to be bottled. And I really want to emphasize the delicacy of winemaking, specifically the fermentation process, because any sort of imbalance in temperature, oxygen levels, or even a foreign element getting into the mixture can completely ruin or throw off the taste of a wine. Even the material it is stored in can change both taste and smell. For example, oak barrels have a little bit of oaky smell get into the wine. Metal containers make it really draw out the dryness of the flavor because there's no other elements getting mixed in. For this reason, independent wineries can experience fluctuations to the drink itself. If there's a imbalance in the mixture one year, or just bad weather where the grapes won't grow, they're not going to be producing as much wine as they normally would, so their prices are going to go up. And this is not a problem that really affects larger wineries because they use machine harvesting and cheaper, a little bit less quality grapes, but they try to counteract the flavor by adding a little more sugar at the end. That appeals more to our amateur wine tasters. The smaller independent wineries instead use traditional winemaking techniques such as hand-picking the grapes and aging the wine in French oak barrels for anywhere from 15 months to 2 years. A study done by Robin Goldstein in collaboration with online authors of Wine Folly showed that the correlation between price and overall rating is small and negative, suggesting that individuals without wine training on average enjoy more expensive wines slightly less. For individuals with wine training, however, we find indications of a positive relationship between price and enjoyment. It is important to remember that starting out, it is perfectly fine to buy cheaper wines. It takes time to truly learn what you want in your glass, and even high-level wine tasters know that ultimately, no one wine is perfect. I sat down with bar manager Colton Murray at 12 Cocktail Bar in Atlanta for an interview about wines. In the interview, he told me that all wines can fit into some occasion or meal. Some are specifically designed to go with desserts, such as muscadine, while others, such as Pinot Noir, pair best with meaty or earthy flavors found in dinner. A great way to find what sort of pairings are best with certain wine is to visit the websites of wineries. For each type of wine they produce, the winery will release the tasting notes. This is a 1 or 2 page paper that describes alcohol content, the process of producing each bottle, the location where it was made, and the flavors you may find in it. For example, Don Chandon's Pinot Noir wine is produced in the Los Carnos region of California. The grapes are harvested at night. They were specifically harvested on September 6, 2017. And this just sounds delicious. They have a smell of dark red fruits, spice, and a little bit of chocolate. Now, how do I know all this? Well, the wineries actually have on their websites the tasting notes for you to print. You can view these very easily. You don't need to have an account or anything. You can look at all the wines that they make. They'll give it to you very, very detailed descriptions. And they also work closely with online wine collaborators such as Wine Folly that I previously mentioned and Winemakers Magazine. These tools will be excellent in helping you learn more about wines and specifically what goes into making them. I know, for example, that Wine Folly has a tool that allows you to look at each region where wines are made and see exactly what kind of grapes are planted there and when they will be harvested for a season. Winemakers want you to buy their product. It's simple economics. They want you to really enjoy it because it is their craft, it's something they're proud of, and it's something that they want to pass on to you. So I encourage you to explore everything that these smaller wineries have to offer, and I hope that this presentation encouraged you at least a little bit to be more interested in the art of wine.